Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fatal One. Here we are with our post-mortem, our moment of advice and lessons learned. What did you guys learn?
If you're going to run a Skulker stealth party, avoid anything that doesn't have dark vision, I think.
Avoid Githzerai monks.
Well, at least I think our theory is that anything without dark vision will have some kind of natural source of light, everlasting flame or whatever it is. And that, yeah, counts as Skulker because you've not got any darkness at all. So
yeah. Stinking Cloud is pretty garbage, don't cast it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a major oversight on my part that it heavily obscures the area.
0 out of 10, would not recommend.
Don't sneak into a sneaking cloud
Stink out of them.
expecting to surprise the enemies when it disappears, because they'll surprise you instead. Yeah.
Also, that gelatinous cube in the beginning was a bit of a surprise.
That was sort of... wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that wasn't there in previous runs, was it?
No, it wasn't.
That suggested some kind of like wandering monsters. I don't know how Neal's tracking that exactly, but...
Or some changes to the dungeon.
Yeah, there's some element of randomness. Maybe that can be a random encounter, that corridor.
What I'm curious about is how... I've already forgotten your character's name. Oh, it's there, Arland. How Arland managed to walk straight into the cube without seeing.
They're invisible cubes. If they're motionless, they're invisible. It says it on their stat block. Yeah.
Well, that explains it.
Well, unless you succeed on a passive DC 15 perception.
I guess we haven't really been talking about passive perceptions very much. I
would
feel like that's something that we've been overlooking across the board, probably.
I mean, you know,
it kind of wasn't relevant for us hiding because we had stealth parties, so it didn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
But I would have seen one of those if we'd walked. My passive perception is 16.
Okay, well that would have been useful. So maybe a clue for future parties is to make your passive perception known early on, in case you run into a gelatinous cube with like 30 passive perception, but nobody realizes that there's this thing.
And
it didn't matter this time.
Because, don't assume just because previous parties have gone down a corridor, like, or two previous parties have gone down there and there was nothing. Don't assume that there will also be nothing. Move cautiously, especially around when you just go through a door, wait for the party. Probably would have helped a bit, although that wasn't such a bad encounter in the end. But...
I messed it up though. You know, that cube could have consumed all of you.
If you just dropped from the ceiling or something.
Well, yeah, but it... Yeah.
Wait, what was the ceiling 10 feet there as well?
Oh god, you should have looked while you were alive.
Yeah, I know. I kept forgetting to keep asking us.
I mean, we could have looked while we were inside the gelatinous tube.
I believe you guys did... what do we say? You did ask about the heights of rooms in a few different places.
Yes.
I was meaning to do that. I forgot.
Generally speaking,
we learned that the...
ceilings.
Stop.
So what else did we learn here?
There was a closed door, locked door.
Oh yeah.
So a bit more of the map, yeah.
Which
there's a lot of branching paths.
And a new portal was discovered too.
And it was a one-way portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was random or not, or if it always goes there.
That's a good question to ask. It could be a random portal, or it could be a specific portal.
I think maybe there's something significant about the fact that there's only one portal in that room compared to the other room, and that it was different. It was one way.
Mm-hmm. See, anything else?
I mean, it's not really 100% relevant to what we were doing. Well, it's just when I was standing in the door, I was thinking it'd be quite nice to have some kind of a door stop, and I saw some people in chat were suggesting it, and I don't know how that would end up working out, but maybe that's something people should try, because once the door's wedged open, you can fight with the door open, and you've got a clear line of sight into the room. Whether it would actually work, whether you could get something to work, like a wedge of wood or something. Personally, I don't see why that would work.
Skull of an enemy.
Huh?
The skull of an enemy.
Possibly.
Jam it under the door.
The femur.
Not the skull of a gelatinous cube, though.
Unfortunately, doorstops are not in the player's handbook, so they're not available for purchase.
However,
What
wood
about platons?
could probably be bought somehow, and a woodworking kit or something. There must be
Quarter staff.
And we just sit down in the first.
I mean, there's nothing that says you could just jam a dagger under the door, right?
So you spawn in the room, you think, I'd really like to be able to wedge that door open somehow. I wonder how I could. Oh, I've got kit for it. Perfect. And you invent the first doorstop.
I've got an app for that. Making wedges. Yeah.
An idea worth exploring. We'll see. I give Neal some time to think about that for the first group that attempts it. But...
Yes, I think the doors in this dungeon have been carefully thought out, so you might find it difficult to doorstop them. It's kind of a core mechanic of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the invisibility thing that doors seem, or that door seemed to cancel it. I'm not sure.
I reckon that was a specific door. It seems unlikely. It seems very suspicious, but it does seem.
Other than Wish, which is basically Neal doing what he wants, there is no way to make a door cancel only an invisibility spell or anything else. So it's probably specifically that door, and it was just like he hit the edge of a anti-magic field or something. Or even a small anti-magic field somehow.
Yeah. The dungeon is large and complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. There are many things that we have yet to run into.
That's a funny way of saying you can do what you want.
But it would be no fun if I was just like making things up. Like, what would be the point of playing the game if it was impossible to beat?
So it's possible?
Absolutely. I mean, I've never done it. But hypothetically, I feel
I am not test on like a successful run.
No, I'm strongly confident that if the dungeon is properly mapped and discovered and plotted and charted and all that jazz, with perfect information, it should be possible and maybe even not all that extremely hard.
I think the thing that's going to take the longest is mapping it out and finding exactly what route is the best route to take, going through the least amount of probably minimizing random encounters and minimizing the harder enemies, or just picking enemies that you can work around or have a strategy to fight. So that's very long term. That's going to take 100%.
Yeah, but to figure out
I mean, we could still be here in a year or two.
Oh yeah.
Battering away at this dungeon.
Maybe. I feel like someone will put together another broken build and map out large swaths of the dungeon, or at least find fairly important things. We'll see. We've had a couple of interesting runs that... Like, we had that one run that got stuck in a room and didn't really make any progress, and we've had some runs that explored quite a bit. So we'll see.
I think the party's based on surviving and exploring somehow. However you want to do that, or like covering large amounts of area, probably are going to be the most useful at this point. But then again, maybe that's not the most fun thing to play.
And there will need to be parties that go over the same route to see what is random and what is not, because we have seen some random things so far, but there are things that look way too specific to be a random encounter, like these Git Yankee or Git whatever monks.
It's really hard to tell what's random and what's not. That's
from one run, yes.
Yeah, many runs are required to gather knowledge.
Yes. Okay. I think
the flames above the monks' heads probably was some kind of magical flame effect. So whether it's, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know the level of the spell, but anti-magic field.
No, we can't cast an anti-magic field. That's like a level 8 spell.
Unless it happens that those necklaces are actually projecting an anti-magic field and it's not the room itself. And then we have a portal.
Yeah, it's an 8th level spell. We're not casting that.
And we're not getting those necklaces either, so hold on. Yeah.
Are you sure? I think a few more parties should try to get those.
We'll just run one quickly, Neal. We'll just like build some characters now. It'll take an hour. Less than an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, we did find out that the ceiling in that room was only 7 foot high.
Yeah.
Someone could possibly hold up the ceiling, right?
Maybe.
Anything
3 barbarians just holding the ceiling.
You guys should do it.
Strength checks.
Why don't you
Next time.
get a party of 4 barbarians, hold up the ceiling.
Just, quickly restart?
I think we just need the strongest party.
We'll just really quickly start another run, and we'll just try and hold up the ceiling and see what happens.
Yeah.
I reckon the run will be over pretty quickly.
we need the barbarians maybe levels in like wizard awareness, strength. Maximize our strength scores and see how much 4 like buffed up barbarians can hold. Wait, is it possible?
Yep. Those really powerful magic items placed right next to the starting room are my favorite part of this dungeon.
I think they're traps. They're absolute traps. The first second I saw them, I was like, we're not getting useful items right next to the starting room, because then there'd be no reason not to get them. So the reason why they're impossible to get, or I don't.
But if you're wrong?
I don't know. I doubt that they're impossible, because I know if we found a way that you didn't think of, then we'll get them, and you wouldn't. I believe you wouldn't change it, but
someone just put a really good idea. Why don't just get a barbarian to just tank the ceiling, just lie on top of the item, set the trap up, then dig them out like 10 minutes later?
That's
perfect.
But are they going to be worth it? But
I don't know.
There are some theories about what they are, and if they're true, they may be actually worth it. But...
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that's it. Is there anything else you guys have as advice for the next party, or anything else you've learned?
I would advise not to rely on barbarians only to tank, because these monks will fuck them up.
And there's probably other things that are similar.
There's probably counters to absolutely everything, so it's a balanced party. I think it's probably going to do the best in the end.
Or just the best round.
A balanced party with the right tools for what they're going to face, but for now, we need to find out what's actually there. So,
yeah,
that's what I would advise. But we'll see.
All right.
I think that's so.
Okay. As always, there is the community dungeon mapping ideas, notes, theories document. It is stickied at the top of the subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/Koibu. In there, you can find a Google Doc that has all sorts of lovely information, including a usually up-to-date version of the dungeon. I don't know if they've been working on it while we've been playing today. I doubt it. I think they usually match it up afterwards. But that's there if you want to see what has been mapped and what has been learned. Oh, no, look at that. They totally have mapped it. Or at least part of it. Okay. They're working on it. Oh my god, this document is getting fucking complicated.
I'll be uploading some screenshots of the areas we were in.
Yeah, and I think there's also a screenshot pasted together map of the dungeon that someone's working on as well as an imager link rather than as a grid, which is also super nice.
However, when we were planning, we did notice that maybe needs to be looked at, especially around the doors. It doesn't quite line up right. So, future parties' advice: use I think the Google Doc one is probably the most.
I think the Excel one's close, or not Excel, but
close.
Yeah, the Google spreadsheet is the closest. I think.
Right.
And Scott's going to make one as well.
Okay. So, do use these resources that the community are putting together. I'm not touching these. I'm not adding anything to these. I think I might have put a note in at one point, or maybe I decided against it. But this is all community notes and community ideas. Take it all with a grain of salt, unless you've seen it actually happen, and maybe someone has posted something wrong or mistaken.
Neal's sabotaging the community reports, guys.
Going in, typing in misinformation.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for Fatal 1. We will probably have a game next week. I just need... not next week, the week after next. I think we're going to aim for one on the 10th of November. I might be out of town, maybe not. If you want to run Fatal 1 with you and your friends or with whatever people you found in the community, have one person be your party leader and send me an email, koibu@regalgoblins.com, with the PDFs of your characters or some link to your characters so I can take a look at them, make sure they're not broken or lies. And then we'll work on scheduling a time together. If you're looking for a group to play with Fatal 1, check out the Discord, because there are a lot of people trying to gather things and parties in there. So that's that. we will see you later, everybody. Oh, and the party also survived 57 rounds. Shortest lived party ever.
Yes.
Not even 10 minutes.
That's a record.
We set a record, yeah.
5.7 minutes,
proud.
guys. It's amazing. See you on the other side of the break.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.